The wild, terrified look in her eyes was something I had never seen in the eyes of a killer before. It was the eyes of a victim, coming home to see her entire world smashed into bloody chunks. When I entered the room, she finally stopped her blood-curdling screams, and I could see a dash of hope in her bloodshot eyes. "Please tell me you can see it too." She tried to crawl towards me on her knees, but another officer held her in place. She repeated the sentence over and over, our eyes locked together. She didn't scream until they carried her out to the patrol car and closed the door. The amount of evidence was overwhelming. Her fingerprints were splattered in the victim's blood. Her hair littered the bodies. Having been pulled out from guilt, she felt after realizing what she had done. She had been found with the meat tenderizer that was used to kill them, still clutched in her hand. Despite all this, she was adamant that she didn't do it. She didn't kill her best friends and their beautiful daughter, she claimed. She was possessed. She claimed that while it was by her hand that the Wilson family met their end, she was not the one in control. She was forced to watch as something took a hold of her body and killed the people she loved. Let's just say, not many people found her story convincing. Though her time in prison, through her trial, and through her execution, she screamed. Sometimes words, mostly nonsense. She screamed with the voice of a shattered, heartbroken woman, and her voice never died out. Her voice only stopped when the sedative kicked in. Within a matter of moments, Mary Lou Gilbert was dead. I flipped her case file closed, rubbed my tired eyes. Looking up, I finally acknowledged the person I had been ignoring. Shimmering in the corner of my office was the silhouette of a woman. Eerie blue light emanated from her, and her hair fell from her head in chunks just to grow back. Mary Lou appeared as she had the day of her arrest, disheveled and covered in blood. I could vaguely make out the chunks of meat that still littered her hair. Since her death, she has stood in the corner of my office, not making a sound, just pointing. Her mouth always open wide, and an echo of a scream, her eyes filled with fright. She never looks at me, but something just over my shoulder. I didn't tell her, but I did see it when she asked me if I could that day in the Wilsons' home. I pretended not to. I looked anywhere but where it was, and for a while, I escaped its notice. But with the appearance of Mary Lou's spirit, I could no longer hide my ignorance. Taking a long sip of strong whiskey, I pulled out the cross that I wore around my neck. There wouldn't be any more paperwork, but my nights was far from over.